Hello and welcome to the UWS Sports Show. I'm Sybaris Ali. On today's show, we'll speak to Kris Boyd about his illustrious career, as well as look back at Celtic's Champions League defeat last night. BBC Sports broadcaster Rob McLean also joins us as we look ahead to Sunday's Betfred Cup final against Aberdeen and Celtic. And finally, our sports reporter Craig Ferguson will have a roundup of all today's big sporting headlines. But first, Celtic crashed out of Europe last night as they suffered a 2-0 home defeat to Barcelona. The result means that the Hoops cannot qualify now for European football after Christmas. Here's our reporter Stefan Arnott.
Sports journalist Ian King joined us to talk about last night's Champions League game where Barcelona beat Celtic 2-0 with a brace from Lionel Messi.
A chance at 1-0 and think they could have held the game level, but I have to say I thought Barcelona probably had other gears to find there, and it could have been 3 or 4 towards the end. Messi missed some chances in the first half, and obviously Suarez hit the post after that.
We asked him who he thought was the better player, Messi or Ronaldo.
Messi all day long for me. I think it's one of those questions whether it's natural skill against manufactured skill. Cristiano Ronaldo's made everything that he's got of every shred of ability.
He gave us his views on why Celtic failed to play European football after Christmas.
I think Borussia Mönchengladbach at home was the one where they really let themselves down, because that was a must-win game, and that's what's cost them European football.
Ian also gave us his opinion on how Celtic can progress next year.
There are certainties to win the league, it would look already. It now comes down to the recruitment policy, and the recruitment policy on Dembele has certainly been excellent. Ironically, I think to take the next step, Celtic probably have to sell Dembele.
I'm now joined in the studio by ex-Kilmarnock striker Kris Boyd to discuss last night's match and of course his successful career. Kris, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Last night, I guess Celtic were outclassed, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean it's a difficult game for Celtic. When you look at where they've been the last few years to be at that level is a credit to the coaching staff and the players. But I think when you come up against arguably the best team in Europe, it's always going to be difficult. And I think when you look at the overall game, or the 2 games that they've played against Barcelona, it really has been a classic example of men against boys. Do
you think they've been, in a sense, out of their depth at all in Europe this season, especially in this group?
No, I wouldn't say they've been out of depth. You've got to look at the opposition. Manchester City, a fantastic team. Barcelona are what they are. And Borussia Mönchengladbach are no mugs either. They've done really well in the Bundesliga, but I think Celtic will be really disappointed with their home performance against Mönchengladbach, because if they got some for that, they gave themselves a chance, because they showed in the away leg that they can compete. And probably should have won it if they took a chance right at the end, but. I think it's a learning curve for Celtic. It's Brendan Rodgers who took the team to, a competition, or led them into a competition where a few of the players have not been in. They might have played the qualifying games, but they've not been to the group stages. And it's a big learning curve for those guys, and they'll be looking forward to challenging. Because I fully expect them to go and win the league. And they'll be looking forward to the qualification for next year's. Now
let's take a look at your successful career. It went from playing at Kilmarnock to you've got numerous Scotland international caps. Where did it all start for you at Kilmarnock?
I think it was maybe 12, 13 when the boys' club I was playing with. There was a few years went to Kilmarnock and trained. It was totally different then. The academies weren't there. It was just you went and trained a couple of nights a week and played a game on a Sunday. But the one thing I will say is, going back to then, you played with your boys' club on a Saturday, and you played with your club in your professional club on a Sunday. So there wasn't this issue of getting game time and everything. We all played games of football every single week. If you were good enough and you played with, I was with Kilmarnock at the time. You had 2 90 minutes under your belt. That was fantastic. But I went in when I left the school. I was 15 when I left the school, and I went in full time with Kilmarnock over the summer at 16. And from there, it's been a fairy tale story for me, to be brutally honest. There's everybody as a young kid wants to go out there and play football. I've been one of the lucky ones who has been fortunate enough to do that.
Now let's go on and talk about your time at Rangers. Hugely successful time at the club, and you played Champions League games. Then you get call-ups for Scotland. Just sum up, shortly what it meant to play for your country as well as play at a high level at Rangers.
Yeah, I think at first it's a giant step. I don't think a lot of people realise how big. I grew up a Rangers supporter. How big the club is. The history of the club and everything goes with it. But until you actually pull on that blue jersey, you don't realise what it's like. You know, your life changes. There's no doubt about it. You know, you go on a pitch and you become, you know, a draw is no good enough. You need to win games of football and win games of football comfortably every single week. So you're put under that pressure to go and do that. You know, as a Celtic, but you know, I think for me it was a fantastic period to play with so many great international players at the time. You know, I was fortunate enough that I went into a really good Rangers team. Yeah, I tasted the Champions League straight away, and you know, it was something you wanted to get back into. You know, I think if I look back at my career till now, that's been one of the biggest disappointments for me, that I wasn't able to put a stamp on European football as such. Yeah, I mean, I've maybe done it a bit in the Europa, scored a few goals and everything, but I would have liked to have played a lot more Champions League football. But as I said, I can't really complain. I've scored a lot of goals and played with clubs that, you know, as I said there, it was a dream to you know, for Kilmarnock to give me the opportunity to play, but to play for Rangers was a dream come true, and to score the amount of goals that I did, you know, it was fantastic.
Now, you of course played for Middlesbrough, you went to Nottingham Forest, went a brief spell in Turkey, but you then moved to Portland. What was that like for you?
Well, I think off the back of, you know, the successful period I had at Rangers, you know, Middlesbrough didn't really go too well. You know, and I found myself in a position just after the January that I knew I had to get out of Middlesbrough. There was no doubt about it, because I wasn't playing games of football, and I ended up at Nottingham Forest under Billy Davis, who's a fantastic manager, who, you know, I think will get back in very soon, deserves to be back in. And I think, I mean, we lost out to a Brendan Rodgers playoff, a team in Brendan Rodgers Swansea in the playoff. So they went up, and you know, I found myself, I probably would have signed with Nottingham Forest that summer, but Billy left, and you know, I knew going back to Middlesbrough wasn't really an option, so I had to get myself out of there. You know, I think when I look back, I had the opportunity to go to Turkey. You know, a few times when I was leaving Rangers and everything, I didn't really think it was right and everything, but you know, I think when they keep coming back, and you know, when somebody keeps pestering you, annoying you that much, you eventually give into it. And you know, I felt as if it was a good opportunity to go from where I was. Financially, it was going to benefit me, you know, but I felt as if from where I was, I wanted to go and see somewhere else in the world. I wanted to go and, you know, explore something else, but it wasn't to work out. You know, there was plenty of scenarios. We've only got probably a couple of minutes. It would take me a couple of days to go through everything that happened there, but you know, and from there, you know, as you say, I went to Portland, but it was actually the Portland one was actually pretty strange, because I was in Houston, about to sign for Houston, when I got a phone call from Portland to go, and you know, I headed to the other side to go to sign with Portland, and fantastic place, you know, fantastic people, the club, you know, there it was just new into the MLS. It was still building. It was the fans were fantastic. You know, I think if anybody's got time to go and have a look at the MLS and everything, you will see, you know, Portland, Seattle, they're probably the best supported ones in the country. But you know, again, that opportunity to see the world, to go to places that, yeah, everybody will say you're going on holiday to America, but you know, I went to places I would never ever went on holiday to, and a great experience, even for the kids as well, to go over there and see what was, you know, a different way of life, but a fantastic place. You know, I was disappointed the way it ended, but as I said, these things happen. You know, I'm not really one for looking back and you know, moaning too much about it. I came back and I ended back at Kilmarnock, then back to Rangers, and then back to Kilmarnock for about the 10th time.
Well, that's my final question actually to you about Kilmarnock. You, of course, now, you know, you've been learning your licences and stuff for coaching, and you've been doing that. But how long do you think you have left at Kilmarnock? Because you seem to just keep going and plugging away and getting the goals.
Well, you know, I think for me, I think a changing point in my career was America, to be brutally honest. You know, I felt as if I came back, and you know, I think it was well documented that, you know, what I had, you know, I hadn't really been playing here and there, and you know, a lot of people had me wrote off. But you know, I don't think you get out the game what you know. It doesn't just happen by luck. You know, I think when I came back to Kilmarnock the first season, and managed to get 22 goals. You know, and you know, from where we were, it was a massive achievement from finishing, you know, just outside that playoff place. But you know, I think going back to what you're saying regarding how long can I play for, you know, I mean, I've never lost my love for the game. I want to continue to play for as long as I can. Touch wood, I've not been, unlucky with injuries. I know that sounds stupid as I'm sitting here now with an injury, but it's really been. I was actually talking to the physio about it the other day. For the 9 years that I've been Kilmarnock, it's only the third time I've ever been on his bed. So I've not really been one for having a lot of aches and pains in my body, and I hope that doesn't start now. But for me, the love, the drive and determination is always there, and until that goes away and you stop finding the net, then I might need to look elsewhere. But right now, as I said, I'm loving playing football. Yeah, it's great to get my coaching badges done, but I've always said that's one for later life.
Right, thanks, Kris. Now, briefly, we're going to have a 20-question quick-fire round with Kris Boyd. One word, one line, whatever you want to say. So we'll start off with Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Strachan or Walter Smith?
Two totally different managers with different strategies. Gordon's on the pitch. Walter probably was on the pitch when he was younger. But Walter as a manager, I've had plenty of successful periods with Walter, so I'd have to say Walter.
Okay. Craig Levein or George Burley?
Craig Levein.
Right. PS4 or Xbox One?
PS4.
Action or comedy?
Comedy.
Game of Thrones or Walking Dead?
None of them. Never seen any.
Simpsons or Family Guy?
Simpsons.
Strictly or X Factor?
X Factor.
Biffy Clyro, or Franz Ferdinand?
Biffy Clyro.
Concert or festival?
Concert.
Salt and sauce or salt and vinegar?
Salt and vinegar.
Darts or snooker?
I can watch both of them, but I think darts is more entertainment.
Alright, live in Glasgow or Kilmarnock?
None of them in there. But I think I've always been one. I don't think if you play for Rangers Celtic you can live in the city. You don't get a minute's peace, so I think you need to take yourself out of it. So if that's one of them, I'd say Kilmarnock.
Or live in another one, sorry, Middlesbrough or Portland?
Portland.
Match of the day or sports scene?
I would have to say sports scene, because 9 times out of 10 I've seen the goals before it gets to match of the day.
Would you rather score the winner at Celtic Park for Rangers in a title decider, or a winner for Kilmarnock in the Scottish Cup final against Ayr?
Yeah. It's a difficult one, to be honest. I think both would hold a special place if you had to do them, but I think probably for Rangers.
Oh, okay. Chris Sutton or Michael Stewart?
Better be careful what I say. It doesn't matter whatever I say. Chris will find a way to argue with me anyway. I'll go Chris.
Oh, okay. Joey Barton or Scott Brown?
Scott Brown.
Moussa Dembele or Lee Griffiths?
Moussa Dembele.
And finally, blue or green?
Blue all day.
Thanks very much, Chris.
No problem.
Now, here are the sporting headlines from our reporter Craig Ferguson.
It's been a busy week of sport not only in Scotland but across the UK. However, we start by heading down under with the World Cup of Golf. Spain's Rafa Cabrera Bello and John Ram lead by 2 on 3 under par. England are 2 back at 1 under, whilst there's not such great news for Scotland's pairing of Russell Knox and Duncan Stewart, who sit dead last on 6 over after opening with a promising birdie. The Scotland rugby team will play their 3rd and final autumn international test against Georgia this weekend. The last time they met, Scotland won 15-6 with Dan Parks kicking all the points. It starts this Saturday at 2:30. In curling, Scotland beat Russia 8-4 in their final round-robin match. Scotland were already through to the semi-finals. The semis and bronze medal match will be this Friday, with the final following on the Saturday. And finally, snooker. And after John Higgins' 1-4-7 break at the Northern Ireland Open last week, the Wizard of Wishaw is comfortably through to round 2 of the British Championships after seeing off Alex Borg of Malta on Wednesday. And I'm glad to report that all 4 Scots taking part have also safely progressed to round 2. And that's today's Sports Roundup. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Craig. Now I'm delighted to say we've been joined by BBC Sports Scotland broadcaster Rob McLean to discuss this Sunday's League Cup final between Aberdeen and Celtic. So, lads, big game, obviously, Sunday. Do you see Aberdeen causing an upset, Rob?
I think it's possible, yeah. I think it's their big chance this season to beat Celtic. They're not going to beat Celtic over the course of the season. They've lost twice already. They're 10 points behind in the league. Celtic have a game in hand. It is mission impossible for them. They're neither the bottom than the top of the league at the moment. So, but on a one-off, they're capable of beating Celtic. If they can bring their A game to Hampden, Chris, on Sunday, would you agree that Aberdeen are
I think
capable?
it'll be interesting to see how the injury situation from Celtic last night as well, with Scott Sinclair going off at half time. He's been a big focal point of everything that Celtic's tried to do this season.
But sorry, would you say that's a game changer, that him being injured?
I would. I genuinely, I feel as if that it would give Aberdeen more of an opportunity. There's one thing about Derek, as he sets his teams up, to defend first and foremost, but they've got pace with McGinn, they've got pace with Hayes, and with Rooney through the middle, you're always got an opportunity of scoring goals. I think Aberdeen, I'll agree with Rob. I think this is the best opportunity to get silverware. Celtic off the back of, a lot of them would have covered a lot of miles last night. I still can't see Celtic getting beat, but I would agree that Aberdeen's best chance will be Sunday if they can keep it as tight as they possibly can. As I said, with the forward players they've got, they will have an opportunity to score goals.
Where do you see Celtic's vulnerability then at the back?
I think Celtic's vulnerability could come from the way they play in terms of the fullbacks look to get forward, and I think Aberdeen will look at that as a space where they can punish. I think the wingers from Aberdeen will look to try and get in behind, Lustig and Ezagiri. But it'll be interesting to see what Brendan Rodgers actually did. I know he went to the 4 last night, but he's been playing 3, so he's got the option of the 3-5-2, or does he keep the 4-3-3? We'll need to wait and see.
Yeah, I think Celtic are much more secure defensively now, I think, than they were.
Yep.
Maybe Simunovic and Zviatchenko is the way to go for them. Toure, although he's been injured, might have been elbowed out of the equation for them. So they're a lot more secure than they were. And I think the biggest problem for Aberdeen is that this is Brendan Rodgers, who's transformed Celtic, and it's his first chance of silverware, and he won't want to miss out at the first opportunity. So I think Aberdeen have to be at their best. If Celtic are at their best, then it's got to be Celtic.
How does Derek McInnes then go about lining up against Celtic? Does he go really conservative, or does he go, look, lads, let's just go all out here?
I think Derek, there's been similarities, Drew, between Derek and Walter over the years. The way he sets his teams out. In terms of that they're hard to break down. You only need to go back to the Rangers game at Pittodrie, where Rangers totally dominated the ball without really looking like scoring. They got in down the wide areas a couple of times, but Derek has got a couple of big centre halves. He'll clear the ball away. So I think come Sunday he'll be pretty much prepared for Celtic to cross balls into the box. But I think on the flip side of that, you're probably defending close to your goal, because you don't really want to leave the space for Sinclair if he's fit, Dembele, Forrest to run into, because I think then they can punish you, because with Considine at left back, he is a centre half, and Logan, for all he's good going forward, he's not really the best defensively, but I think Derek he'll definitely start from the back and build his team forward rather than starting where I think Brendan will start from the front and work back.
You touched on there earlier, Chris, about Sinclair, if he was out, it would be a game changer. Lee Griffiths, of course, has been toiling with a lot of injuries this season. If he was fit, do you think this is the kind of moment for him now to maybe stamp his authority on a League Cup final, given that he played in the 5-1 defeat against Hearts?
I think if he's fit, he'll feature, but I don't think he'll be in the starting lineup. I think he'll stick. Brendan Rodgers sticks pretty much with the same team plan. Dembele is his man up top, but it's a great option for them to have him available on the bench if he's there, if he's ready for it. I mean, it's another big boost for Aberdeen if Sinclair's out and Griffiths is out as well.
Well, again, that might change. Does he change the formation again off the back of that, and does he try and get Lee Griffiths in the starting lineup if Scott Sinclair doesn't? These are all decisions that Brendan will face in the build up to Sunday. But as a manager, it's not really it's not a bad problem to have somebody who scored 40 goals last season. But it'll be interesting to see how fit he is as well, because he's missed the last couple of games, and he's even the hamstring. I think it was a hamstring at the beginning of the season as well. So there must be a problem there somewhere. But I agree with Rob. I don't think Brendan's one for changing his teams. He'll stick to. He will definitely have his 3 attackers on the field and look to go and win the game from attacking football. He's always done that from Swansea all the way through, even at Liverpool. He's not going to change now. He thinks that's his way about it, but it'll be interesting to see how the two of them come head to head.
So just finally, who are you predicting to win the Cup on Sunday?
It's going to be half and half in terms of supporters. It's going to be a great atmosphere. 20,000 Aberdeen fans. I just have a little feeling that it might be their day.
Okay, Kris?
I'm going to have to disagree with Rob. I think Celtic are head and shoulders above everybody in Scottish football right now, and I fully expect them to take the first silverware of the season.
Well, thanks very much, Kris and Rob. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for watching the UWS Sports Show. We'll leave you with all the goals from the previous 2 games between Aberdeen and Celtic this season. Goodbye.